All right. What if I told you that we never die? What if I told you that death was the greatest lie ever told? Well, first of all, I wanted to come on to share with you just that. And you might be like, well, Matt, how do you know this? I am Matt Fraser. I am a psychic medium. For years, I've connected with loved ones in spirit, and I've received visions of the other side, of the afterlife, and have passed on thousands of messages from your loved ones in spirit. And here's what I want you to know is that there is no such thing as death. And not only is there no such thing as death, but even the skeptics who left this world, who have died and transitioned on, have realized one thing: that heaven is real, the afterlife is real, and I can't count how many times that souls have come back to do one thing, and that is tell this message to their friends and loved ones. So now let me ask you a question. Have you lost a loved one and then weird things started to happen? Maybe you started to notice number patterns like seeing 1111 again and again and again and again. Maybe you had weird occurrences start to happen, like feeling like you're not alone, feeling like there's someone else that's in the room. Maybe you started to have paranormal activity starting to happen, like all of a sudden the lights flickering on and off, all of a sudden feeling hot and cold temperatures in the house. Well, what I want you to know is that this isn't paranormal at all. This is actually your loved ones in spirit coming back to do one thing: to let you know that they're okay. Because here's what I've learned out of all of my years as a psychic medium: that most people, I want to say like 99% of people, are afraid to die. Even the people that believe in heaven, that believe in the other side, that believe in the afterlife are scared. And they're very scared, especially when they don't want to die, when they don't want to leave this world, when they're told that they have a diagnosis like cancer and they know that death is near, right? How many of you have had a loved one that was scared, that was nervous, that was afraid to die? And maybe that fear was passed on to you. Well, I am here live with you right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram to share with you the secrets of the afterlife and let you know that we truly never die. And I've learned everything from talking to the souls on the other side. I've learned so much about this that I actually wrote a book, the New York Times best-selling book called We Never Die: Secrets of the Afterlife. And here's what I want you to know. When you're born here in this world, you, your pets, every living being, there's something else within us. Deep within you, there is a soul. And your soul is what actually allows you to live forever. Your soul can't be destroyed, it's energy. So, that being said, what's so cool is that deep within us, we have the soul. And it's the reason why we have these most amazing bonds that we do, right? We have bonds with pets, we have bonds with people, we can love so deeply. It's because your soul that's within you feels the soul that's within others, right? That's where our empathy comes from, our love comes from, our compassion comes from. Even with beings such as your pets, your cat or your dog or that bird that you love, right? You can feel the soul that's in that animal. How many of you have felt using your soul? Meaning that how many of you have felt an animal, right, with your soul saying, oh my God, it's got that dog is just a beautiful soul. That dog has such an amazing temperament. Oh my God, that cat is so loving, so peaceful. It's a good soul. Your soul can sense the soul in other beings and other people. Well, guess what? What I want you to know is it's because our soul is created in heaven. Before we're born, there's an afterlife. There's another side. We exist before we exist. Our soul is created, and we are sent down here on earth with purpose. We're sent down here with talents, skills, and abilities. We're sent down here to meet our soulmate. We're sent down here to meet our family. We're sent down here to go through trials and challenges and all of these things within life. And then guess what? When our time here on earth is done, and yes, we all have a limited amount of time, we transition on. But the thing is that it's a transition. There is no such thing as death. So let me bring you back to the beginning. The reason why I'm bringing this up is that most people have a fear of death because we don't know what happens when our loved one takes their last breath. We don't know what happens when our loved one takes their last breath here in this world. All we see is someone go through this horrible, horrible illness. 1 minute they're here, and then 1 minute they're gone. 1 minute you could call them on the phone, 1 minute you couldn't. And guess what? That's where the fear of death comes from. That's where the anxiety comes from. Where do they go? Are they still with us? What if there is no afterlife? What if there's no other side? What if you close your eyes and it's blank? Well, what I can tell you is that your loved ones in spirit, the moment they get to the other side and realize heaven is real, there is no illness, there is no separation, that they can still watch over you and be a part of your life, they start to try to reach you with signs. These are known as breakthrough signs. where they'll literally start using repeating numbers and weird phenomena and weird ways coming through in your dreams, coming through in coincidences, coming through hearing someone call your name in all different ways to let you know that they're there. What they're trying to do is give you a little hint, get you to open your eyes to know, oh my God, my loved one didn't die. They are at peace and that they are okay. But I want to talk to you about what actually happens when you quote unquote die, right? So first of all, there's a soul. You have a soul. I have a soul. Every living being has a soul. And that soul is deep within you. And when one day you pass away, that soul lifts up and out of your body and you go through this transition. Now, a lot of people see this as the white light or the tunnel of white light that appears. It's almost like a tunnel from our world into the other side. And although it looks like a tunnel, what it actually is your soul separating from your body. So what's so amazing is this, is that here on earth, we feel physical things that we don't feel within death. So here in this world, we feel things such as illness, such as pain, such as deep emotions, right? Addictions, things like that. But when we leave this world and we transition from this world to the other side, when our soul lifts out of our body, guess what? All of those things are left with your body. Alzheimer's, dementia is left within your brain. It causes issues within your brain, but not your soul. So you have illness you might have an illness like cancer, right? Where you lost your hair. Guess what? Can't affect your soul. You might have an illness like diabetes where you lose fingers or toes. Doesn't affect your soul. So that's the reason why if you've ever dreamt of a loved one in spirit, you'll dream of them completely whole. You'll dream of them being put back together without illness, without pain, without any of the things that worried them here within life or caused them issues here within life. Because your soul is a backup version of you. And your soul was created so that you could experience life as a human and transition back onto the other side. And you might be like, Matt, well, what do you mean? Well, think of it this way. There's things that are left here on Earth when we transition. Same thing if you look at astronauts, right? When astronauts get to space, there is no such thing as gravity up there, right? They're no longer being pulled down to a planet like we are here on Earth, right? Everything changes. Well, that same thing changes when we leave our body. When we leave our body, what stays behind is our illness, our pain, all of those things. And what transitions on is our soul. And you know what the souls tell me? The souls who transition on tell me this. Everyone who passes away does not pass away alone. Doesn't matter if you pass in a tragedy, if your death was something that you've known about for the past couple weeks. Doesn't matter if you pass away in your sleep overnight. What I can tell you is that nobody, and I mean nobody, passes alone. The moment that someone is getting ready to transition on here in this world or pass away, something happens. Immediately, souls in heaven are alerted that someone here on earth is going to pass. Now, who's alerted? Well, the souls on the other side are alerted with the people that they are closest to. So, for example, let's say that, God forbid, you were going to pass yesterday, right? In heaven, your grandmother, your mom, whoever it is that's in heaven, your pets would receive that notification. And that's the reason why, if you've ever been at the bedside of someone who's passing, someone who's dying, someone who's getting ready to leave this world, there are signs. There are signs that happen where they smile, right? They look up, they smile and gesture to somebody who is not there, but is there to them. They might point or say something like, oh, pull that chair over for that little girl over there. And you're like, what little girl? Or they might say to you, my mom came to visit me. And you're like, wait, what? Your mom died 10 years ago. What I want you to know is that souls are there to help us through the process because they don't want it to be scary. What's scary is going through illness. What's not scary, that the other side tells me, is when we actually pass on. I've seen over the years souls be so afraid, scared, so nervous. I've held the hands of many people who were about to take their last breath and say, Matt, what if? I'm so scared. I'm so scared. What if I don't make it? What if there's not another side? What if? To all of a sudden something happens. All of a sudden, in that, I call it the in-between period, they see someone, a friend, a family member, a pet, someone that passed on before them. And immediately, their fears are eased. Now, listen, this isn't wishful thinking. This isn't coincidence. This is actually in medical textbooks. If you look at medical textbooks, there's something called deathbed visioning. Deathbed visioning is an end of care of life, where people all over the world, doesn't matter what culture you are, doesn't matter what background you are, doesn't matter anything. People all over the world go through deathbed visioning when they're at their final stages of life, which is they see someone that passed on before them. They have conversations with souls that are not there, right? They see their mom again, their dad again. They say things like, my mom is coming to get me, or my husband's here. I'm so excited to see him. He's coming to get me. He's going to take me home. Or, oh my God, Jesus is real. Or, oh my God, I can't wait to go. It looks so beautiful. They'll say things like this. They'll reach, they'll mention, they'll look, they'll do all of these things because why? They're seeing into the other side. You know, what happens is that nobody, and remember this, and remember that I told you this, okay? Nobody gets pulled to heaven kicking and screaming. There's never been a soul, because people ask me all the time, well, Matt, what happens if you don't want to go? What if they're going to take you and you're like, no. I'm going to tell you right now, there has never been a reading that I've done where a soul has been dragged kicking and screaming to the other side. In fact, it's the opposite. In fact, I've seen people scared, nervous, stressed out of their mind, crying, saying, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. So all of a sudden something happens and they see their mom or their grandmother or that certain someone that they loved so deeply, who they never thought they'd see again. And then suddenly, every single fear goes away. Every single fear leaves them. Suddenly, that fear of, I'm never going to see this person, or, oh my God, what if heaven doesn't exist? Or, oh my God, what happens? Suddenly, that fear turns into, oh my God, I can't believe that that's you. Oh my God, how am I here with you right now? Oh my God. Do you know this? That the souls that I've read for, that were so afraid before death, that literally were saying, I don't want to die, I don't want to leave this world. Suddenly, once they get to the other side, don't even realize that they died because they're expecting something. When people are nervous and scared about dying, they're expecting it to sting. They're expecting to be in this room that's dark where they don't know where they are. They're expecting to feel something different. They're expecting to lose their body, to not have fingers or toes or whatever it is. When all of a sudden, when souls actually pass on, when they die, guess what it feels like to them? Souls come back and tell me all the time that when they actually die, when they make that final transition to the other side, it feels just like dreaming. Now, I want you to think of this. Think of the last time you had a dream. Think about the last time that you had a dream so vivid that you thought you were actually there, that you could feel the people around you, that you could feel where you were standing, right? It felt so real. In that moment, you weren't scared. You weren't nervous. You weren't like, am I dreaming? Am I awake? Am I alive? What happened? Well, guess what? To souls that leave this world, that's exactly what it's like. Is that they close their eyes in this world, and all of a sudden, it's like they enter into a dream. I have asked souls time and time again, what does heaven feel like? And they told me a dream. It literally feels like a dream. You ever feel in a dream how you're weightless, how you're not scared in a dream, how you're not panicked in a dream, right? Unless you have a nightmare, that is. But most of the time, you're visiting someone going to a place, experiencing something. Well, the way that your body feels so weightless in that dream, right? You don't have thoughts in your dream, right? Like, oh my God, did those bills get paid? Oh my God, did I remember to leave the light on when I left the house? Oh my God, did I turn the oven off, right? Your mind is quiet during the dream. You're totally immersed in the experience. Your body feels light. Well, that same thing happens when we pass on. It's actually funny because most souls don't know that they died, right? When they're on the other side and they're just so immersed with talking to their grandmother or their grandfather or their husband or whoever it is that had passed, or seeing their pets again, that they're so enjoying the moment that it's funny. In readings that I do, I'll literally see souls be like, so where am I right now? And the souls will tell them, you're entering into heaven. Well, the same process happens again and again and again. Because guess what? Your loved ones know what you fear, and they know what's going to help you over that fear. So, when people are nervous and scared and stressed, they could be the most nervous. But when someone shows up that they know and they love and they trust, what I can tell you is that the person who's scared, who's sick, who's dying, automatically becomes at ease. Now, this transition can happen a couple different ways, right? It could happen where if the person's really scared, really nervous, they might start deathbed visioning weeks before they actually pass away. They might start seeing spirits come to visit them. Maybe one day it's their brother that passed away that's there. Maybe another day it's their husband that's there that passed away. Maybe another day it's their mom that passed away. Right? And these are the souls getting them ready. The soul is getting ready to leave the body, isn't ready yet. So the souls are there trying to give them little glimpses like, hey, this is where you're going. Hey, this is where it is. And I got to tell you, that's one of the reasons why you can see people. If you've ever been to someone who has been with someone who's passing, that they could be so nervous, so scared, so stressed. And then either they mention one of these things or they might just close their eyes and just smile. I had this one woman that was passing away. She was a neighbor of mine. And her husband, was so nervous because she was so afraid to die, so afraid to leave this world. She believed in heaven. She believed in the other side. But, when death was upon her, she just wasn't sure. Well, I remember when she was passing, everybody was around. They were talking. She was right in front of everyone. And then all of a sudden, she looked around the room, looked at everyone who was there, closed her eyes, and just smiled. And then next thing you know, we looked over and noticed that she wasn't breathing. She had passed on. It's almost like she took one look around the room, looked to see who was there, and then boom, went right to the other side, passed right there in the chair. And it was the most beautiful thing because at that moment, I know that she was smiling because she saw where she was going, that she got that glimpse of heaven and was like, okay, everyone's here. They're not paying attention. They're all happy talking amongst one another. And that was my opportunity. Well, what I want you to know is that when you transition on, it's not death in the sense of the end. It's literally a family reunion. The first thing that people realize when they die is one, they're without illness. I've seen people who have been so sick in a hospital bed to start the transition on where they start to see their loved ones in spirit and they're in this energy space in heaven and they're like, oh my God, wait a minute. I got my hair back. Oh my God, wait a minute. My fingers are back. Oh my God, I can actually feel again. Oh my God, I don't have pain anymore. Those are some of the first things that are said when souls pass away. And then they start to put the pieces together. When souls actually pass away, right? And they're like, wait a minute, I feel so good. Oh my God, wait, I got fingers and I got toes and I can feel. And wait a minute. So if you're here, they start to put things together. Like if you're here and you're here and you're here, where am I right now? Right? And that's when souls will say, well, we're getting ready, you're getting ready to transition on, and many times we'll even be given a look back, right? So souls have sometimes lingered where, for example, if you've seen a loved one or been in the presence of a loved one where their body was almost like in a coma, their body was hanging on, but they haven't quite transitioned on yet. They're going through that process of meeting with friends, meeting with family members, meeting pets that have passed on, and then something else happens. It's during that process that they're able to see. They're able to see who's in the room with them, what's happening with their loved ones right now. And that's why sometimes souls will actually hold on. I did this reading for this man one time who had lost his mother. And, his mom, unfortunately, had gotten sick really quickly, went to the hospital. He was like, keep me updated. Well, she had gotten this horrible infection, was going to die. She slipped into a coma. And within a couple hours, he was getting the phone call of saying, listen, mom's not going to make it. You got to get here. Well, he had jumped on a plane, got in a car, was on his way to come in to see her. And, he was literally a few hours out. Well, guess what? His mom was already transitioning. She was in a coma. She was transitioning to the other side. She was seeing, friends and family members. She was seeing his father, her husband that had passed away. But during that transition process, something else happened. It was revealed to her that her son was on her way. That her son was on his way. It was revealed to her that her son was on the way to the hospital and that he jumped on the plane and was coming to see her to say goodbye. She took some time to hang on, to wait before fully transitioning over to be able to say goodbye to him because she knew how important that was to him. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes your loved ones in spirit will actually transition on when you're not there, when you're out of the room, because they don't want you to see them in that last way. But what I want you to know is that it's up to them. Some souls can choose to hang on. Some souls will actually choose to head out a little bit early. But the truth is that they can see. They can see what's going on at that moment. I actually did a reading for a woman who had a near-death experience, and she had a gunshot wound, and she was shot when she was here, shot multiple times, and she was dying. And she remembers that at that time of her being shot and being on the operating table, that she could actually see. She could see the nurses working on her, the surgeons working on her, the frantic back and forth, running back, her family in the waiting room waiting. But something happened. Her soul didn't transition on to the other side. It was getting ready to. She started to see her friends and her family, and they told her something. They told her, hang on. Don't come with us just yet. Hang on, hang on. And what ended up happening is that all of a sudden, as fast as, or I shouldn't say as fast, as much as she was transitioning to the other side, she started to feel her soul being pulled back into her body. And next thing you know, just like that, she was back in her body, opening up her eyes with her friends and her family standing around her. But what happened was is that her soul was in progress of transitioning to the other side, but her body was able to be repaired and her soul was able to re-enter. Now, this happens as well. This is the reason why people have near-death experiences, is that sometimes what happens is that your body is shutting down, you're getting ready to pass, but something happens and your soul can reattach itself and can re-enter, right? And these people who have near-death experiences, I believe, have shown this for a reason, to help us here on earth realize that it's not the end. I've compared notes with so many people who have lost, well, almost been lost, right? And have returned with near death experiences, only to discover this one thing, that people who've had near death experiences and souls who have passed on experience almost the same thing. And that is going to the other side, feeling free, being without illness, reconnecting with friends and family members, but more importantly, a knowing that there is another side of life. And that's what your loved ones want you to know as well. And how do I know this? Well, after all of these years of connecting with your loved ones, I've seen this, right? Your loved ones have come back and shown me what their final moments have been like. They've shown me that even though that they've been in a coma, even though they couldn't speak, talk, or communicate, they were in pain. In fact, they were in this space in the in-between where they could hear their loved ones talking to them, see their loved ones talking to them, even though they were in a coma, even though their eyes were closed, even though, they were deemed by medical staff of not being awake or conscious, they could see. Not only could they see the living, but they could also see their loved ones in spirit. I've also seen that spirits have been shown a preview. The souls that have been afraid to go to the other side. Maybe they've had young children. Maybe they have a young husband. Maybe it is that they're scared and they're like, oh my God, if I die, who's going to take care of my kids? Well, spirits on the other side have shown them a life preview, shown them that their kids would be taken care of, that their family was going to be okay. They're able to see before they pass 5 and 10 years into the future and what that's going to look like for their family so they can leave without feeling hurt, pain, or guilt. That actually happened with a reading that I was doing. I'll never forget it. There was this woman. Oh, I felt so bad. She was about 40 years old. She had had this horrible, horrible, horrible cancer that she just was fighting for years and years and years and years and years. She fought and fought and fought and fought and fought until she couldn't fight anymore. Well, anyway, she was transitioning on to the other side and her children were so young. She was determined to fight till the very end. Never went on hospice, was determined to fight to stay there for her kids. And when she was transitioning on, when she was passing, her friends and family members were there who had passed on before them. And she felt so excited to see them, to witness them, for them to all be with her. But there was a really big question that she needed answered before she could transition on to the other side. And that was, what was going to happen to her children? She had a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and she wanted to know what was going to happen to them. Well, the thing is that after I think it was like 2.5 years that she had fought this horrible illness. I want to let you know that when this had happened, Spirit came through and showed her her kids walking across the graduation stage, showed her kids married, showed her all of these things, reassured her that she would be able to help them from the other side in unique and beautiful ways, and that she would still be able to see everything in their life, and that even though she wasn't there, other family members were going to take care of them and step forward, and they would still be able to find love in their soulmate, and all of these things. Well, this little life preview helped her make her transition to the other side, helped her finally let go and transition on peacefully. Right? These souls don't get trapped. They don't get trapped between two worlds. She was hanging on until she saw that piece of information that helped her make her transition to heaven. What I want you to know is that was the first time as a medium that I've seen something like that. That when we're transitioning on and we have certain holdbacks, you could say, right? Certain things that, well, I'm okay with dying, but I just need to know this one's going to be okay. I just need to know this, that, or the other thing. Spirit allows us to see that during that transition. And also, once we get to the other side, we get to do something very special. We get to figure out how to communicate with loved ones here in this world. Now, this is something that's really beautiful. When we transition on, we're able to go and pick out signs. Have you ever wondered where signs come from? How do loved ones in spirit choose to send you a sign? Well, it all happens when they die. When souls pass on, when they get to the other side, The one thing that every soul wants is to know that they can come back, that they can say hi to their mom again, dad again, sister, brother. They want to know that they can communicate with them. So your loved ones start to use signs, and they pick signs. They might pick a butterfly for you, a cardinal for your dad, a song for your sister. They might pick something totally random, like a rainbow for their son or their daughter, right? What I want you to know is that these are divine ways that your loved ones in spirit will choose to reach you. They'll also choose certain jobs that they have on the other side. Maybe their job is helping you to find your soulmate. Maybe that job is helping you to pass that test. Whatever it is, they want to still be a part of your life. And they also want one thing. The one thing that they want, what they come to me as a psychic medium for all the time, is to share with you this, that there is no such thing as death, that death is the greatest lie ever told. And they wish that you could see them now. And that's the one thing that I wish. I wish that I could give you a pair of my eyes. I wish you could see your loved one right now. See them how I see them. Happy, watching over you, the way that they're part of your life, the way that they're right here over your shoulder. They're there during the biggest moments. They're there helping you through the greatest challenges. And they're there putting the pieces together when you feel as though that everything's falling apart. I can promise you that. And what I want you to know is this, is that the more that you learn about the other side in the afterlife, the more that your loved ones learn how to communicate with you, how to speak with you, and how to connect with you. And listen, I wrote a book all about this. It's called We Never Die, Secrets of the Afterlife. If you haven't gotten this copy of this book, it's available on Amazon, Books A Million, Audible, anywhere that you buy books. And it's all about the other side. You know, what do we look like on the other side? What do we drive on the other side? Do we have houses on the other side, right? What happens if we don't get to say goodbye? What happens if we pass in a tragedy? What happens when we meet our guardian angel? What's all here in We Never Die, Secrets of the Afterlife. I hope that you'll get a copy. But in the meantime, I want you to do this. If you're missing someone in heaven, open up the communication lines with them. Because if there's one thing that I've learned as a medium, is that we can still communicate with our loved ones, talk to our loved ones, and our loved ones still can communicate with us. Whether you feel like you're psychic or not, they can communicate in dreams, sending signs in so many ways, as long as you're open to them. So start by having conversations with them. And by the way, while I have you all here right now, I see Carla is here on Facebook. I see that Nikki is here on YouTube. I see that Shannon is here on Instagram. If you're here with me live right now, do me a favor. If you're on Facebook, share this post. Because every time you share this post, when we're live talking about heaven, the afterlife, the other side, when you share this post, this tells Facebook that you like me. And every time I'm live, you'll get a notification where you can come on and join me. And if you're here on YouTube, do me a favor and click the like and subscribe button. And this is what I also want to know. How many of you here on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube have been a silent follower? How many of you have followed me for years and years and years, and maybe you don't leave comments, maybe you don't write to me, maybe you don't say hello, but you watch all my videos? I want to hear from you. Just say hello. Say, hey, Matt, I'm a silent follower. Hey, Matt, I've been following you for so many years, because I'm going to be in the comments writing back to as many of you as possible. And I love to get to know you the same way that you guys get to know me. Because the one thing is that I feel like God gave me this ability for a reason, not just to do readings and connect with the other side, but to show you that your loved ones are with you, to show you that they're there, and to help you have your conversation with them. And that's what I want to do with every reading. If you notice when I give psychic readings, it's not just about, oh yeah, your mom says this, okay, have a nice day, right? It's literally, your mom says this, and this is how you can communicate with her. This is the signs that she's sending you. Here's what she wants you to know. Here's how she's helping you. Your loved ones want to communicate with you. It's the reason why they come through a psychic medium like myself. It's the reason why they come through to you with signs. It's the reason why they appear in your dreams. And what I want you to know is that you don't have to be a psychic or a medium to sense or feel them. So that being said, I want to let you know, I see a lot of you guys are asking right now, Holly and Tammy, and I see Steven's asking, how do I get a reading with you? How do I want to get a reading with you? Well, there's two ways to get a reading with me. You guys take a look at this. If you haven't seen my website, meetmattfraser.com, I just added some brand new tour stops. And there's actually two ways to get a reading with me. One, I'll be live on tour delivering messages from the spirit world. And here's what I want you to know. It doesn't matter where you sit. It matters that you're there. During each one of these events, I'm going to be helping you reconnect with your loved ones in spirit. And I added some new cities and states that I've never been to before. Ready? Starting March 13th, I'm heading to Duluth, Minnesota. Then I'm coming to Hackinson, North Dakota. Suquamish, Washington. We're almost sold out in Suquamish, Washington, by the way. I'm also coming, who's here from North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. I just added to my list. Washington, D.C., Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Welch, Minnesota, New Buffalo, Michigan, Northfield, Ohio, Red Bank, New Jersey, Nashua, New Hampshire, Cranston, Rhode Island. I'll be giving readings in my hometown of Cranston at the Park Theater. I'm also coming to El Cajon, California, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Riverhead, New York. All those dates are up on my website, meetmattfraser.com. There's also meet and greet tickets where you can come and meet me before the show even begins. So meetmattfraser.com, click on tour dates to come and meet me in person. But I also want to let you know this. If you've been watching me on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all the places, I want you to know that I also do online readings in between tour stops right here in this office. Now, I want you guys to know that before I head out on the road, I decided to do 3 online readings here, okay? Saturday, February 21st, Sunday, February 22nd, and Tuesday, February 24th, excuse me, tongue-tied. And each one of these online readings, you're here live with me in this office. I see you guys see me, and I'm going to be reading as many people as possible. And it's less than $30 to attend. So if you want to join me, just type the word link in the comments below. Type the word link here on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and I will send you the link to come and join me. And also, I'm doing something very special as well. February 26th, one night only, I'm going to be doing readings, not to connect with your loved ones, but to connect with your angels and spirit guides. Have you ever wondered who's guiding me? Why am I going through this? Is there someone guiding me? Is there someone watching over me? Maybe you felt someone save you and you're like, who is that person? Well, on February 26th, I'm doing a very special event called Channeling Angels and Spirit Guides, where we're not just going to talk to your angel or your spirit guide. We're going to talk to both together. I'm going to call in your angel, call in your spirit guide because they work together. And we're going to find out what their message is for you. Maybe there's something that you need to know about for the future. Maybe there's something that you're going through right now. Maybe there's a life milestone that you're meant to achieve that they're helping you with. Maybe it's discovering your own psychic gift. Maybe, just maybe, and something that happened to you in the past that you never got clarity on. That event is happening February 26th. So there's so many ways to connect with me, and I hope you will. I hope you'll come to one of my shows, come to an online reading. I hope you'll come to the Angel and Spirit Guide event. Because the more that you learn about the other side in the afterlife, the more that you learn that heaven is real, your loved ones are with you, and you learn how to communicate yourself. It's so beautiful because when you learn how to communicate with your loved ones, you never truly feel alone. So that being said, I want to thank Janet and I want to thank Sheila. I want to thank Sharon, well, a lot of S's, for sharing the live. I see that Sharon just shared and Janet and Sheila just press the share button here on Facebook. I want to thank Linda as well for just subscribing to the YouTube channel. I love seeing all of you guys. And in the meantime, I wanted you to know this one thing. If you're fearful of death, if you're fearful of the other side, learn. That fear, anxiety, worry that you have is just because it's the unknown. The more that you learn about heaven, the afterlife, and the other side, the more that anxiety disappears, And when that anxiety disappears and that worry disappears, something else happens. You learn a whole new way of communicating and reaching and speaking to your loved ones. So try it. Talk to your loved ones, speak to them, and learn as much about the afterlife as you can. Because what I want you to know is that you have loved ones in spirit that are waiting for you, waiting to speak to you, connect with you. And one day, I know we don't like to talk about it, but when you're nervous, when you're scared, when you're at the end of life, you're not going to be alone. They're going to be right there with you. And sometimes they'll even intervene beforehand. You might see them in a dream. They might appear during a tragedy to let you know that they've been there all along. So I want to thank you guys for the likes, for the shares, for the comments. If you want to draw my next online reading, just type the word link in the comments below and I'll send you the link. And in the meantime, talk to your loved ones tonight. Have conversations with them because I promise you that they're just as excited to connect with you as you are to connect with them. All right, I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to be talking more about what happens when